Hello, I'm Rhiannon Lambert and welcome to the Gut Diaries. Here's a taste of what's to come.
The boys didn't notice I'd come out wearing different clothes. It was a vicious circle, really, and I think a lot of people keep quiet about it and struggle on. If I started talking about it, other people would.
Andy Turner, hello. Thank you so much for joining us on the Gut Diaries today.
Hello, it's a pleasure.
I have so many questions to ask you. I think because you've just had the most incredibly different career, if I can put it that way. Can we start with what you used to do for a living and how that has almost led you onto a journey to look after your well-being?
Well, I've always worked with horses, and my job for 10 years was as groom to an international show jumper.
Was it during that time then that you really started to discover gut health?
I think I've always suffered with my gut. Even as a child, I was constipated and sent to the doctors and given remedies for it that didn't really work. And then when I worked with horses, it was really a continuation, and my diet wasn't very good then, and so I think that didn't help. I didn't really think there was much I could do about it. I didn't really know about gut health, or I just thought it was me. Doctors said, well, if that's normal for you, then drink more water and carry on.
It's so interesting you say that because, you know, as a registered nutritionist, I've seen so many people over the years that were just told, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it must have felt quite confusing, I guess, then, and overwhelming for you to navigate your own digestive concerns whilst you're trying to maintain a family life and work.
Yes. And while I was working, I suppose in a way it was convenient, really, that I didn't go to the loo very often because there wasn't much access to loos at different shows and while I was travelling. So
what sort of thing would you feel day to day? Any discomfort, I suppose?
Yeah, I guess bloating and tummy ache and things. But because it was so normal for me, I didn't realise it could be better.
Because nobody used to speak about such things, you know, bowel movements were strictly a no-no in conversation. I think navigating that must have just been incredibly difficult.
Yes, it was. It was really. And I was quite young then, in my 20s. That wasn't something we talked about, despite being up to our armpits in horse poo most of the time.
Which is ironic, because you're looking after bowel movements of your horse and not thinking about yourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I would disappear off to the loo to try and go, and I'll go back, they'll wonder where I am, but I'd never say why I'd been a long time. It was quite difficult thinking back. It was just how it always was. But it wasn't something I remember ever talking about to any of my friends.
Like having to put on a bit of a mask almost.
Yeah.
So you'd say your confidence today would just be completely different because we speak more.
Oh, absolutely. And I think once I got older and got married, and then my symptoms changed and I needed to go to the loo more, which would happen in restaurants. To start with, it was awful. I'd think, oh, that's terrible. But then I started talking about it and saying, well, you know, might need to nip off to the loo, but don't worry, I'm fine. And it's surprising how many people will say, God, I'm like that, and start talking about it. If I started talking about it, other people would.
It just takes one person often to set the ball rolling, doesn't it?
So now if I can see someone's suffering, I'll talk to them about it, and they're usually glad to have someone to talk to.
It's incredibly brave, I think, and also so refreshing to hear that that's how you approach it. It's lovely. And when you have children as well, we go through so many changes as women. That must have equally been quite difficult to manage.
Yes, I think so. And I never thought that I would marry and have children, to be honest. I was just going to work with horses, but then met my husband who already had a son, and then we had our children, and I can't imagine not having the family now, but it does change everything.
So you can offer some words of wisdom to your children, you know, the whole family, and say, look, this is important.
Yeah, and we do all talk about it because they know about me, and my struggles as they've got older, and we do laugh about it, really.
They know you're coming today to be honest about your gut health.
They do.
Oh,
Yeah, they want to know if I'm going to tell the pooey story.
well, what's the pooey story?
That was the catalyst. Well, I was in London at a theatre with the 3 boys, adults then, and my husband, and I got the cramps in the middle of the performance and went out, and it was just horrendous. But the staff were wonderful, and my husband was wonderful, and so Paul, who works in theatre now, says that I'm probably known as the pooey lady.
Oh, bless you. No, do you know what? I think it's incredibly brave of you to speak and be confident and share those stories, because those stories, that's what helps others realise they're not alone.
Well, that was the catalyst for me to go and get something sorted.
It's almost quite traumatic to go through something like that in such a public place as well.
Oh, it was. I mean, the staff were fantastic. The boys didn't notice I'd come out wearing different clothes.
Oh, bless them. Yeah.
But I can laugh now about it, and it's not just me that this has happened to. And I think a lot of people keep quiet about it and struggle on.
It's very taboo. I have to say, still today, even though gut health has become a term I think most people are more familiar with, I still find it is new. It's something that I suspect even medical professionals that are not in the nutrition area or field are starting to come to terms with too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
How did you start to actually think, oh, I know, I'm going to look at my lifestyle, my nutrition?
I think when I got married and we had a family, I wasn't working all the time. I took time away to bring up the boys, and my symptoms started to change, and I felt I needed to get under control somehow. Something must be happening. That I went back to the doctors, and I was referred to different people and had different tests and things, and I started reading about it more. And I was diagnosed with IBS.
Do you think perhaps this was something that may have been there a very long time, and then finally you
Yes.
felt like having some more knowledge was quite powerful?
Yes, definitely.
What were the next steps?
I was referred to a dietitian. They suggested I went on the FODMAP diet to try, and I didn't really even consider that could be food stuffs that were causing some of the symptoms. I've got a very lovely daughter-in-law who's always also a dietitian, and she helped me with the FODMAP diet, which helped to identify food groups that I wasn't tolerating well.
FODMAP's not an easy process.
No, it was very difficult, quite hard to stick to, but I did it because I was getting desperate.
Yeah, and for anybody listening, we're talking about identifying different types of fibres and strains in different foods and how those react in your body individually. And of course, everybody can have a different response to different foods because we're unique. So you must have learnt so much about yourself during that process.
Yes, I did. Yes, it was amazing, really. I felt that it was impacting on my life, where I went from being constipated to bouts of diarrhoea suddenly, and to know that food was partly to blame, as well as anxiety. I think it was a vicious circle, really.
I wish everybody knew how debilitating digestive issues can be. The symptoms that we feel and the things we go through, because they can really interrupt you trying to live a normal life, can't they?
Yes, definitely. And I think because IBS is quite a common complaint now, people just say, oh, IBS, and don't realise how awful it is. I got to a point where I didn't want to go out in case I couldn't get to a loo in time. That was affecting family life, and then I'd bring the IBS on, I think, because I was worrying that I was going to have to get on a train or go somewhere there might not be a toilet, and I'd go from feeling perfectly normal to walking out the door and having the symptoms start. I sort of didn't tell my husband, I didn't tell anybody about it for quite a while, but he obviously knew something was wrong, and he was really good.
How did he support you through that?
He knew how much I was struggling and how it affected me, and he'd researched toilets for me so that I knew that I could go if I needed to, and that'd be less likely to trigger then.
I think, Andy, as well, it's so important to discuss the fact that gut health and mood, are so interlinked, the psychology, and there is a lot of research that suggests if we look after our digestion, then we're more likely to feel better. And that is concrete in science. So what you're actually doing without realizing it is doing a kind of science experiment on yourself. Do you have a morning routine, something that you do every day that helps you start the day right?
Yes, every day I get up and I take a dose of Simprove, which I find brilliant. I've been taking it for about 6 years now.
So I guess the big question is, have you changed your husband's habits with your transformative morning routine, Andy?
Well, yes. He's good. He'll have porridge or cereal in the morning. And I'm finally getting him to take Simprove. He's seen what a difference it's made to my life. And he'd say so himself that it's turned stressful situations into pleasure again going out.
So have your kids noticed the freedom now compared to mummy before, mummy after?
Well, yeah, they have, because now it's not... I would cancel things in London or going out to shows and things because I couldn't go. And now there's nothing that I would put off or not go to or fly to.
You've got freedom again.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today on the Gut Diaries. Have you got a message, I guess, a take-home point that if you were to tell somebody else, to start thinking about your gut health, what would you say?
I think you've got to put your gut health before anything, really, because if your gut's happy, if I'm happy, my gut's happy, and vice versa.
It's really sound advice. Thank you for coming on the Gut Diaries today.
Thank you.